How you doing? I'm the Lyft driver that you called to take home your girlfriend.
Not a girlfriend, man.
Oh, credit card was invalid.
Pay yourself whatever and give yourself a nice tip.
Thank you.
You knocked on the wrong door tonight, Pops.
Hi folks, I'm Ignatiy Vishnevetsky.
And I'm Alex Dowd.
Today we're talking about The Equalizer 2, starring Denzel Washington.
Welcome to Film Club. Denzel Washington, superb actor, tends to bring a command to almost anything he's in. I think that generally includes the action movies he's in. I mean, he's been kind of making action films for almost as long as he's been a dramatic actor. And usually I think he's a pretty welcome presence. But he is defeated, I think, by the demands of the Equalizer series.
That's true of every movie he's made with Antoine Fuqua.
Even Training Day?
No, after Training Day.
Okay. I find myself often watching these films thinking, like, if Tony Scott were still alive and making these movies now, you know, they might be outrageously ridiculous, but they would lean into that at least. You know, Fuqua directs them like somebody who's not having a lot of fun. Washington plays Robert McCall. He is an ex-special ops badass.
CIA kind of dude.
Yeah, yeah. And he now sort of lives a sort of humble, solitary life in Boston, sort of reading classic books, but also moonlighting as this sort of vigilante guardian angel.
For hire.
For hire.
And I have to say, this film is incredibly boring for really just amazingly long stretches. It has a kind of a David Fincher-esque running time. I'm sure you could cut together the Lyft driving scenes and it would be like a solid 20 minutes of this film.
That might be an exaggeration, but there are many scenes of him behind the wheel, sort of looking through his rearview mirror, sort of admiring his various customers. I mean, the idea is, I think, that he looks through there and he finds some of the people he can potentially help. Usually by, like, horrifically breaking someone's bones.
Yeah, there's a lot of neck snapping, finger breaking, and that one might sound like a gruesome, violent vigilante film, but this is a movie with two different painting subplots, one of which is Denzel Washington helping an old man find a painting, a plot that they very clearly tried to like cut out of this film but couldn't because it's mentioned it's mentioned in a very important scene. So like, oh, we got to have the bare minimum with the old man. And another one where he hires a kid to repaint a wall, and he's also reading In Search of Lost Time, which is exactly as exciting to look at as it sounds.
Yeah, the subplot with the neighborhood kid, he's like this young teenage artist, but who's also being drawn to the gang life. It's so after-school special.
It all starts with a mural that's been defaced with gang graffiti that just says gang. It just says gang twice. It just
says gang on the wall. Yeah, as you can maybe tell, this is a different film than the first one, because in a lot of ways, the first one, like, the Equalizer is just going to be tearing through goons for most of the running time.
Yeah, and here he just sits, I think, for most of the movie. He's either like sitting at a table, he's sitting in a cab, there's a whole mystery element.
There's a really bootleg murder mystery, and the movie jumps around the globe back and forth, giving us the same timestamp, or the same location stamp several times.
Yeah, because every time it cuts, so part of it, though he never actually goes to Brussels, but there's something that happens in Brussels, and every time they cut to Brussels, it says Brussels, Belgium. They do it 4 or 5 times in the movie, and it's like, what other European city are they going to cut to? We've been following these same characters back and forth. It just has the lowest possible expectations for the audience's intelligence.
Yeah.
You know, this film has so many things I would normally like, things I'm a total sucker for, like a climax that is inexplicably set against the backdrop of a hurricane in an evacuated town.
I did sort of enjoy the climax, but I think I know where you're going with this, that it's not staged particularly well.
You can't follow it at all. I mean, you can't follow any of these really very, very basic action scenes that you get in this film, which are also quite infrequent. They're just messy, and it's not like they're messy because the camera is shaking constantly in some sort of hyper-kinetic mid-2000s imitation of Paul Greengrass, but it's just inept. It's just the cutting, the interplay of close-ups and wide shots. I wouldn't even call it workmanlike.
I would say that Fuqua exhibits the craftsmanship of somebody who said, good enough. And I think that there were those who enjoyed the first one on some sort of really low base level, that it just at least delivered the promise of Denzel Washington breaking people's necks and snapping fingers and stuff. This one has a lot less of that. I think you're forced to kind of look at what Washington's trying to do, the way he tries to slow scenes down, the way he tries to bring a certain amount of gravitas to a pretty ridiculous character, and I think he's pretty stranded in this.
I'm your father. Your mama just didn't tell you. Let's go, Miles. Let's go, Miles. Let's go, Miles.